Python programming. So we will write code to find a year is leap year or not. So generally, how we can able to decide whether a year is a leap year or not. So by identifying or by dividing that particular year with 4, right? So for example, I am having 2004. For example, I am taking this year. So we will divide this year with 4 and we will check the remainder, right? The remainder of this division is equal to 0, then we can say that year is a leap year, right? So then in this way we have to write the code. So generally, why we are writing the code? Because we are having the calendars, but so for example, every time we cannot search the calendar and we cannot search the number of days in the February. So we know that in leap year 366 days are there. So right, but we will write a code. If you enter that year and the computer will display the result whether that year is leap year or not. So how we can able to write here? Whatever may be the year that is entered by the user, we need to divide it with 4 and we need to check the remainder. If the remainder is equal to 0, we can say that year is a leap year. But here one small problem is there. So for example, some of the years are there: 1700, 1800, 1900. So these are the years which are called century years, right? So why these years are called century years? Because these years are divisible by 100. So the years which are divisible by 100 are called as century years, right? So if you divide this particular century years with 4, you will get the remainder as 0. But these years are not leap years. These years are not leap years. So that's why we have to detect these type of years and we have to correct that particular error. Means whenever user enters these types of years, we have to check whether these years are divisible by 4. Right, 1700, 1800, 1900 are divisible by 4, but we cannot say these years are leap years because that year is a not leap year because it doesn't have 366 days in that particular year. So now next step. So it is divisible by 4 and we have to check whether that year is leap year or not. Means whether that year is century year or not. Right. So then if it is century year, if a century year is to be a leap year, compulsory that should be divisible by 400. Then only we can say that year is leap year. So here only 3 important points. So first and most, we have to first step. So step 1. Right. So in step 1, what we will do? Check year is divisible by 4. Check whether that year is divisible by 4 or not. If it is divisible by 4, then we have to move the step. So what is step 2? Check that year is century year or not. So in step 2, we have to check whether that year is century year or not. If it is not a century year and if it is divisible by 4, we can say that year is a leap year. If it is not divisible by 4, straight away we can say that year is not a leap year. And again, if that year is divisible by 4 and it is a century year means that year is divisible by 100. Then in step 3, check year is divisible by 400. Then you can conclude that that year is a leap year. Then we will implement in the program. Okay. So here Python will follow indentation, right? So we will write the code by following indentation. Here we have to use conditions, right? So then first of all we have to ask the user to enter a year. and we need to store it in a variable. So I am using a variable called year. So year equal to, so all years are integers, right? So we are converting whatever the number that is entered by the user, it will be in the form of a string. So we have to convert it into integer. So what is the function that we use to accept user input? Input function in the Python. So input, enter a year. So this input function will return you string, so that whatever bit the year that is entered by the user will be given like a string by the input function. So now we are converting that string into integer format. So now implement the steps whatever we have discussed just now briefly. So then if year percentage 4 equal to 0, this is the condition we have to check. If this condition, see here we are using modulo operator to get the remainder of the division, and here we are comparing it with the 0. Remainder will get compared with the 0. If the remainder is 0, then we can say that here is a leap year. Else that year is not a leap year, right? So but here, whenever a year is divisible by 4, we have to move the step 2. Right, as we discussed, right? So we have to check whether that year is divisible by 100 or not. So then one more if condition. Here we will provide indentation. So the next upcoming statement will be written by using indentation. Right. So if here percentage 100 equal to 0. If it is also satisfied, then we have to check whether that year is divisible by 400 or not. Then again one more if condition. If year percentage 400 equal to 0, then here what we can able to print? Print year from is leap. So if this is not satisfied, then under this if, write else. What we can print? Print. If it is not divisible by 400, it is century year. It is not divisible by 400, it is not a leap year. So then here is not leap. Right. Then when this if condition fails, then second if condition fails, it means that year is divisible by 4, but it is not divisible by 100. Straight away we can say that year is a leap year. So under this if, write else. Under for second if condition, we are writing else part. Right. So print year is leap. Now come to the first if statement. So for first if, right, whenever first if condition becomes false, then we can say that year is not leap year, because that year is not divisible by 4 means then we have to say else print year is not leap. So this is the program to check whether a year is leap year or not. So how many lines are taken here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So almost all see each and every lines counted. So however this is required. So after this, after taking the input, to check whether that year is leap year or not, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 lines are taken. We can able to complete this program using 4 lines with multiple conditions. Right? We will see it in the next.